Welcome to Now Documentary. Today, we're telling a case that revolves around coffee. For many people, coffee is an essential stimulant every morning. But who would have thought that something so ordinary could become entangled with murder? Our story takes place in New Taipei City, Taiwan's largest city. In the northwestern corner of this bustling metropolis of over 4 million people lies a small coastal district called Bali. Across the river from Bali is the mouth of the Tamsui River, and just beyond it is the lively Tamsui area. This region has a harbour, tourist attractions, as well as quiet riverbanks and mangrove forests. Unlike the crowded and noisy city centre, Bali has a uniquely relaxed pace of life. People can ride bicycles along the river, watching the sun set over the water, which has made the area a popular destination for visitors. However, in 2013, an unexpected murder shattered this long-standing tranquility. On February 26, 2013, a tourist ran in a panic into a coffee shop across the river, borrowing a phone to call the police. Although the caller only said that someone needed help by the riverbank, the dispatcher sensed that something serious had happened. Officers from the nearby Longyuan police station were quickly dispatched. Police cordoned off the riverbank area, and near the mangroves below the embankment, they found the body of an elderly man of medium build. He was lying on his back on the shallow riverbed, arms spread wide, with no signs of life. The man was wearing a beige jacket and long pants. Having been submerged in water for some time, his body was severely swollen and already decomposing. Since he carried no identification, forensic personnel collected his fingerprints. Fortunately, a match was found in the database. The system had his fingerprints because he had previously served in the military. The deceased was identified as Chen Jin-fu, a wealthy businessman aged 78. Chen Jin-fu was born in 1934. In his early years, he went to Japan on a government scholarship, earning a PhD in psychology from the prestigious Keio University, before teaching at Takushoku University, specializing in ethics education. During his studies in Japan, Chen was already married, but he soon became deeply attracted to a young woman named Zhang Cui-ping, who had just arrived in Japan to study and was unfamiliar with her surroundings. As a fellow Taiwanese, Chen often looked for opportunities to help her. Over time, their relationship developed into a romantic one. Eventually, Chen divorced his first wife and married Zhang Cui-ping, who was 21 years younger than him. In business, Chen was highly successful. He first opened a shop near Okinawa, selling household appliances such as rice cookers, VCD players, and gas stoves. After making a fortune, he began buying property, eventually even purchasing uninhabited islands. In 1983, after visiting Iriomoto Island, Chen resigned from his teaching position and spent 500,000 yen to buy 2 uninhabited islands, Outer Ray Island and Inner Ray Island. He began cultivating pearls along the coast and later moved to the islands with his wife. In 1985, Japanese media featured him in the news, referring to him as the King of the Island. People who knew Chen described him as hard-working, sincere, and generous, a refined elderly man with extensive connections in both political and business circles. Former Taipei Mayor Xu Shuite and former Interior Minister Huang Kun-hui were both his classmates and close acquaintances. After retirement, Chen and his wife returned to Taiwan and settled in a 3-story villa in Bali District, New Taipei City, valued at over 20 million NT dollars. The building had originally been a Catholic church. As a Buddhist, Chen felt a strong affinity with the property, and after purchasing it, he placed Buddhist statues inside, while also preserving the original Christian cross. Despite his wealth, Chen and his wife did not even own a car after returning to Taiwan. They frequently took public transportation and lived a simple, modest life. In retirement, Chen devoted most of his time to studying Buddhist scriptures and even funded the publication of several Buddhist books himself, with his wife Zhang Cui-ping listed as the publisher. Zhang Cui-ping, born in 1956, was an accomplished woman in her own right. She was an associate professor in the Department of Hospitality Management at Xiqian University, specializing in color studies, ergonomics in food service, and environmental planning. On campus, she was known for her rigorous teaching style and active participation in academic activities, earning the respect of both colleagues and students. Like her husband, she also had a deep connection with Buddhism. In her daily life, she loved food, enjoyed baking bread, and made homemade Japanese natto, which she shared with Buddhist monks. One of the couple's favorite daily routines was to walk along the bike path near their home, enjoying the scenery of the Tamsui River, before stopping at a nearby cafe called Mama Mouth Coffee, where they would sit and slowly enjoy a cup of coffee in the afternoon sunlight. After confirming Chen Jin-fu's identity, police attempted to contact his wife, Zhang Cui-ping. To their surprise, the system showed that both Chen and Zhang had already been reported missing by their family a week earlier, on February 19th. On Tuesday, February 19th, 2013, Zhang Cui-ping's younger brother received a call from Xiqian University. The university reported that Associate Professor Zhang had not shown up to teach her class the previous day and was also absent from that day's faculty meeting. Attempts to contact her had failed. After hanging up, her brother tried calling both his sister and brother-in-law, only to find that both phones went straight to voicemail. After contacting Chen Jin-fu's relatives, they learned that Chen had last been seen 3 or 4 days earlier. Given his age, the family worried that something might have gone wrong and decided to check on them. The couple lived on Long Mi Road in Bali. After repeated doorbell rings went unanswered, the family hired a locksmith to force the door open. Inside, the lights were still on, but no one was home. The house was neat, with no signs of forced entry. However, leftover food on the dining table had already gone moldy, suggesting the couple had been gone for some time. Realizing something was seriously wrong, the family immediately reported it to the police. As mentioned earlier, Chen Jin-fu had extensive social connections and knew many people in both political and business circles. Because of this, Zhang Cui-ping's younger sister reached out to one of Chen's friends, Chen Zijing, then director of the Criminal Investigation Bureau, asking for help in locating the couple. After receiving the report, officers from the Luzhou precinct were quickly dispatched to investigate the couple's movements prior to their disappearance. Surveillance footage showed that the last time Chen and Zhang left their home was after dinner on February 16th. The cameras only captured them leaving. There was no footage of them returning. Combined with the fact that family members discovered moldy food on the dining table on February 19th, police concluded that February 16th was the likely date of their disappearance. As for where the couple might have gone after dinner, family members provided an important clue. Chen Jin-fu had a long-standing habit of drinking coffee, and almost every day visited a cafe called Mama Mouth Coffee. The cafe itself was small and unassuming, but its location was excellent. Situated directly across from the Tamsui River, it offered a beautiful view. Many cyclists would stop there for a coffee break, and over time, the cafe became a popular rest stop for bike riders. The cafe's owner, Liu Binghong, born in 1978, was a local Taiwanese. He grew up in a family involved in plumbing and electrical work. His father had long been a contractor, and under his influence, Liu learned on-site management and coordination skills from a young age. In his early career, Liu worked in the chemical industry, following a technical path. However, after his father passed away suddenly, he decided to move back home to be with his family and eventually turned to the coffee business. In 2008, Liu and several partners noticed the natural scenery and steady foot traffic along the Bali riverbank and decided to open a cafe there. No one expected that just 5 years later, the shop would become entangled in a murder case. The day after police formally began investigating the case, on February 20, Lu Binghong was called to the Longyuan police station to give a statement. Officers questioned him in detail about Chen Jin-fu and Zhang Cui-ping's visit on February 16, what they ordered, what time they arrived, and when they left. During the questioning, police specifically asked Lu whether he knew who Chen Jin-fu's goddaughter was. This lead came from Zhang Cui-ping's sister, who told police that Zhang had repeatedly complained that her husband had taken on a goddaughter at the cafe and frequently gave her money. Zhang was reportedly very unhappy about this and had complained to her family many times. For that reason, Zhang's sister suspected that this goddaughter might be connected to the couple's disappearance. Lu Binghong said he had never heard anything about a goddaughter. In front of the officers, he began calling each cafe employee one by one, asking if anyone knew who this goddaughter might be. One former employee recalled that Zhang Cui-ping had once mentioned that her husband had considered making the cafe manager, Xie Yihan, his goddaughter. Police initially planned to bring all cafe employees, including Xie Yihan, to the station for questioning. Lu objected, saying that if everyone was taken in, he would not be able to run his business. He suggested that police come to the cafe to question staff instead. On February 21st, police went to the cafe and questioned staff about the Chen couple, specifically asking whether Xie Yihan was Chen Jin-fu's goddaughter. Xie acknowledged that Chen had once raised the idea, but said it was a long time ago and that she had never agreed. Before police could make further progress, Chen Jin-fu's body was discovered. At first, forensic personnel believed the case was an accidental drowning. Chen was found fully clothed, with mud and aquatic plants covering his body, so investigators initially did not notice any wounds and assumed he had drowned while walking near the river. However, several days later, the autopsy results revealed the truth. Chen Jin-fu had 3 stab wounds, all to the neck, 1 on the left side and 2 on the right. The wound on the left side had penetrated the carotid artery. Combined with the fact that no water was found in his airway, the medical examiner concluded that Chen had been killed and then pushed into the water after death. Because the couple had left home together, police feared that Zhang Cui-ping might also have been murdered. Large numbers of officers were deployed to conduct a grid search of the mangrove area, probing the mud inch by inch with poles in hopes of finding clues. But the terrain was extremely muddy and difficult to navigate. Combined with rising tides, several days of searching produced no results. Given that Chen Jin-fu's body was found only 157 meters from Mama Mouth Coffee, police once again focused their investigation on the cafe. Lu Binghong told investigators that he was very familiar with Chen and Zhang. From the cafe's opening until the incident, nearly 5 years, Chen came almost every day, rain or shine, and always ordered a single espresso. The staff nicknamed him Espresso Grandpa. Chen would sometimes bring gifts for the staff. 2 years earlier, he had once brought black pearls, ground them into powder, and mixed them into coffee, joking that pearls were good for the skin and that the cafe should sell pearl coffee. Lu's close friend and coffee instructor, Wu Shi-cheng, though not a shareholder, often helped out at the cafe. He remembered Chen vividly, describing him as someone who loved to sing. After learning new songs, Chen would sit outside the cafe on a wooden bench with headphones on, practicing. That bench became almost his fixed seat, leading many customers to mistake him for the owner. When people greeted him, Chen would raise his right arm and wave in a gesture resembling a beckoning lucky cat. To many, he was simply a kind, gentle old man. Zhang Cui-ping was also very familiar with the cafe staff. As a hospitality professor, she once invited Lu to give a lecture to her university students about starting a coffee business. She later brought students to the cafe to learn about coffee making and beer brewing. Zhang herself loved beer and often came with her husband to learn brewing techniques. During Lunar New Year, she even gave cafe employees handmade gifts. To this elderly couple, who came almost daily to chat and relax, the cafe was practically a second home. Their relationships with everyone there seemed harmonious, and Lu Binghong truly could not imagine who would want to harm such a kind couple. What Lu did not yet know was that police had already identified a primary suspect, the cafe manager, Xie Yi Han, aged 27. In addition to the suspicion surrounding the so-called goddaughter, police obtained another critical lead that also pointed towards Xie Yi Han. Even before Chen Jin-fu's body was discovered, investigators had already begun canvassing nearby businesses in search of witnesses. A shop owner from a neighboring store named Xu Xingxing provided an important piece of information. He told police that on the evening of February 16th, while he was washing dishes inside his shop, he noticed Xie Yi Han supporting Zhang Cui-ping as they slowly passed by the front of the store. He remembered that Zhang Cui-ping was holding a bottle of beer at the time. Because the shop owner was familiar with both women, he casually asked, "Drunk?" Xie Yi Han turned back and replied, "I'm taking my teacher home." Zhang Cui-ping also turned and nodded slightly, but did not speak. The two then continued walking forward slowly. The last confirmed sighting of Zhang Cui-ping while she was alive. As for Xie Yi Han, cafe owner Lu Binghong described her background in detail. When Mama Mouth Coffee first opened in 2008, 3 young women applied for jobs. One of them was Xie Yi Han. At the time, she was a student in the Department of Information Management at Changgung University. During the interview, Xie Yi Han appeared poised and confident, smiling throughout. She said she was a member of her university's mountaineering club and vice president of the Aikido club. In terms of work experience, she explained that she had worked part-time since junior high school at a bubble tea shop, and that her mother also ran a small stall selling steel piping equipment in Kaohsiung. Life had not been easy, she said, and she often helped her mother during her free time. After being hired, Xie Yi Han worked diligently and was very good at dealing with people. She earned the trust of regular customers and gradually worked her way up from part-time staff to cafe manager after 3 years. As manager, she essentially ran the shop herself and organized numerous charity activities, helping mountain farmers sell pomelos, launching a reusable thermos campaign after the Japan tsunami, and donating all proceeds. She appeared responsible, compassionate, and reliable. Nothing about her suggested a murderer. Even more puzzling was her behavior after the crime. In the week following the incident, Xie Yi Han posted cheerful photos on Facebook. On February 22nd, she shared pictures of a family trip to Ximen Reservoir. Another photo showed her holding hands with her boyfriend, a wedding ring shining on her ring finger, smiling brightly as she announced her upcoming marriage. After returning from the trip, she went back to work as usual, served customers normally, and patiently answered questions from visiting reporters. To most people, this conscientious cafe manager seemed impossible to associate with a brutal murder.
他们那天大概几点来啊？几点走？晚上差不多就是现在这个时间点。他没有固定的位置，对，他就是来这边，然后就喝边上的，对哈。所以他们咖啡也不会买外带。外带，不一定对他们还蛮不一定的，对。就但是确定是每天固定都会来，就是。基本上一个礼拜最少要来个5次吧。
However, police saw things differently. The day after Chen Jin-fu's body was discovered, on February 27th, police received a call from Changhua Bank in Taipei. Bank staff reported that earlier that afternoon, a woman had attempted to withdraw money from an ATM on Dexing West Road using Zhang Cui-ping's bank card. She entered the wrong PIN multiple times and failed. Undeterred, the woman then took the card and identification to the bank counter and tried to withdraw money directly. Bank employees noticed that the signature did not match Zhang Cui-ping's records. Even more suspicious, Zhang Cui-ping was 57 years old, while the woman in front of them, despite heavy makeup, sunglasses, and a deliberately hunched posture, clearly looked much younger. When questioned, the woman claimed she had been in a car accident and undergone cosmetic surgery, which was why her appearance differed from her ID. The explanation was riddled with inconsistencies. The bank refused the transaction and immediately notified police after she left. Zhang Cui-ping's family later reviewed surveillance images and confirmed that the woman was definitely not Zhang herself. Investigators believed the woman's body type and facial features closely matched Xie Yihan. Police printed the image and deliberately brought it to Mama Mouth Coffee, showing it to staff and customers one by one, watching carefully for reactions. When shown the photo, Xie Yihan remained calm. After looking at it, she said flatly that she had never seen the person and did not know who she was. Although she denied involvement, police continued pursuing the bank lead. By reviewing surrounding surveillance footage frame by frame, investigators traced the woman's route prior to entering the bank. They discovered she had walked from the Sogo department store on Zhongshan North Road. Cameras outside the department store restroom showed that before entering, the woman appeared young. When she came out, she had completely changed her appearance, wearing a wig and sunglasses, adding wrinkles at the corners of her eyes, deliberately aging her makeup and altering her gait to appear frail. Before police could fully identify her, another body was discovered. On March 2nd, police received a report that a female body had been found along the mangrove shoreline of the Tamsui River. What shocked everyone was that the person who discovered the body was none other than Mama Mouth Coffee's manager, Xie Yihan. When asked why she was there, Xie claimed that she had been closely following news of the Chen couple's disappearance. After Chen Jin-fu's body was found, she said she had come to the area every morning hoping to find Zhang Cui-ping, and that she finally did. If that explanation already sounded implausible, what followed was even more troubling. After discovering the body, Xie Yihan not only called the police, but also immediately contacted Zhang Cui-ping's family, telling her siblings that Professor Zhang has been found. When police arrived, forensic personnel found that the body had been submerged so long it was unrecognizable. Zhang Cui-ping's identity was ultimately confirmed through DNA testing. The question was, how did Xie Yihan know that the severely decomposed body belonged to Zhang Cui-ping? This series of abnormal actions further intensified police suspicion. 2 days later, on March 4th, police received another report. Near a women's restroom at Xiqian University, someone had discovered Zhang Cui-ping's wallet. After conducting on-site inquiries, campus cleaning staff stated that when they cleaned the area on March 1st, they did not see the wallet. March 2nd and March 3rd fell on a weekend, during which no cleaning was performed. Based on this timeline, police determined that someone had deliberately placed the wallet in the restroom during that window, attempting to mislead the investigation. On that same day, March 4th, the autopsy results for Zhang Cui-ping were released. Forensic examiners found a total of 7 stab wounds on her body, including injuries to both shoulders, the left lower jaw, and the right lung. The lung wound was severe and caused fatal hemorrhagic shock. Toxicology reports also showed that residues of sleeping pills were detected in the bodies of both Zhang Cui-ping and her husband, Chen Jin-fu. Meanwhile, police made a major breakthrough while continuing to track the bank withdrawal attempt. After carefully reviewing all nearby surveillance footage, investigators discovered that the woman impersonating Zhang Cui-ping had ridden a scooter to the department store. Tracing the license plate, police found that the scooter was registered to Xie Yihan's mother, and that the vehicle was currently parked outside Mama Mouth Coffee. After further questioning, cafe employees confirmed that the person who usually rode that scooter was their manager, Xie Yihan. By the early morning of March 6th, police had obtained a search warrant. They prepared to carry out the operation as soon as the cafe opened. However, someone appeared to have leaked information. Several reporters arrived outside the cafe even before police did. At around 4 a.m., while it was still dark, reporters noticed the cafe was already brightly lit. Several people inside were busy cleaning and tidying up, as if they were dealing with traces of something. The next day, March 7th, media outlets published headlines such as, "Night visit to the murder cafe, reporters catch owners in major cleanup." The opening line read, "Suspects are very good actors." The article claimed that the main suspects, cafe owner Lu Binghong and Wu Shi-cheng, were arrested shortly after calmly chatting with reporters about the case. Wu Shi-cheng was even quoted clenching his fist and saying that if Xie Yihan really did it, he would want to punch her, only to be arrested himself an hour later, his facade instantly shattered. The report further implied that Lu Binghong and Wu Shicheng were deliberately trying to clear Xie Yihan's name. It stated that when police took them away, their expressions instantly turned cold, and that their conversation with reporters became their final words before arrest. At the time, public opinion turned vicious. Many people accused Lu Binghong of being heartless, calling his cafe a modern-day Longmen Inn, saying he killed elderly regulars for money. Some criticized his calm demeanor in front of cameras, saying he even smiled eerily. Looking back on that period, Lu Binghong could only respond with a bitter smile. He said he understood journalists were just doing their jobs, but the truth was that on the night of March 6th, he and Wu Shicheng were not destroying evidence. The night before, March 5th, Lu had been teaching students how to brew beer, a class that ran late into the night. After closing, he stayed behind to organize cafe accounts and calculate employee wages. Meanwhile, Wu Shicheng was cleaning the shop. The two worked through the night until around 4 a.m. When Lu opened the door that morning, he was stunned to see multiple television crews waiting outside. Before he could react, reporters told them,
"Something big is going to happen to you today."
It was only then that Lu learned from reporters that newspapers had already published stories that morning identifying Xie Yihan as the murder suspect. Both Lu and Wu were shocked. They had known Xie Yihan for years and could not reconcile the image of a kind, charitable cafe manager with that of a murderer. While they were still processing this, around 6 a.m., a large number of police officers arrived with a search warrant, cordoned off the area, and searched the cafe thoroughly. After the search, police formally summoned Xie Yihan and 8 other related individuals for questioning. A total of 9 people were taken to the station, including Lu Binghong, Wu Shicheng, and cafe employee Zhong Dianfeng. At around 11 a.m. on March 6th, Lu Binghong began his interrogation, which lasted until after 5 p.m. Later that day, Lu Binghong, Wu Shicheng, Zhong Dianfeng, and Xie Yihan were transferred to the district court. Because Xie Yihan claimed that all 4 had participated in the murders, prosecutors applied to detain all 4 on murder charges. Lu Binghong had believed he was being questioned merely as a witness. It was not until late that night, when his wife arrived with a lawyer, that he learned the truth. The cafe manager he had trusted most had turned around and accused everyone else. According to Xie Yihan's statement, the murders were a joint effort by herself, Lu Binghong, Wu Shicheng, and Zhong Dianfeng, with Lu as the mastermind. She claimed that Lu wanted to expand the cafe, but lacked capital, knew Chen Jin-fu was wealthy, and pulled her into a plot to kill the couple for money. Xie stated that on the evening of February 16th, she invited the Chen couple to Mama Mouth Coffee under the pretense of celebrating the cafe owner's daughter's birthday. After they arrived with gifts, Chen Jin-fu ordered an espresso, and Zhang Cui-ping ordered a beer. She claimed she secretly added sleeping pills to their drinks. She then said Lu pretended he wanted to borrow money for investment and offered to drive the couple to see collateral. According to her account, Lu drove a dark green Toyota sedan with Zhong in the front passenger seat and Wu in the back. After the couple got in, Zhong held a fruit knife to Zhang Cui-ping's neck and forced her to reveal her bank PIN. Lu and Wu then killed the couple inside the car. Afterward, they transported the bodies to a residence on Dayong Street in Sanchong. Based on this testimony, police applied to detain all 4. Overnight, Lu Binghong went from cafe owner to the prime murder suspect in the eyes of the public. However, what made investigators even more troubled was what happened next. After giving her first version of events, following a night of interrogation and reflection, Xie Yihan's attitude made a complete 180-degree turn. The next day, March 7th, during the detention hearing, she publicly recanted her previous confession, claiming that everything she had said the day before was the result of police coercion. She stated that investigators had deliberately set traps during prolonged questioning, and that under extreme fatigue, she had fabricated a story simply to cooperate and escape the situation. At the detention hearing, Xie Yihan presented a completely different version of events, what investigators later referred to as her second version. In this account, she claimed that she had merely picked up a wallet and an ATM card from the ground and attempted to withdraw money while impersonating Zhang Cui-ping. As for anything involving murder, she insisted she knew absolutely nothing. During the early stages of the investigation, Xie Yihan denied all criminal accusations. Over the course of the case, she would ultimately provide 4 entirely different versions of the story. By this point, investigators had already largely determined that the murders were carried out by Xie Yihan alone and were unrelated to Lu Binghong or the others. Eventually, the court ruled that Lu Binghong could be released on bail of 3 million NT dollars, while Ou Shi-cheng and Zhong Dianfeng were also released on bail of several $100,000 NT dollars each. However, strict conditions were imposed. All 3 were prohibited from leaving the country or going to sea, and were required to report to the police daily. When Lu Binghong left the courthouse, he repeatedly emphasized his innocence to the media and urged everyone to tell the truth. He stated that until the day before the incident, he had no idea why Xie Yihan would be involved in such a case, and that he had not participated in any criminal activity. On the same day, Lu Binghong posted a public message on Mama Mouth Coffee's Facebook fan page, stating that since teacher Zhang and Uncle Chen had gone missing, they had been under intense investigation. He said he had instructed his partners to remain calm, tell the truth, and face the situation with a clear conscience. He apologized to customers for the cafe's closure and expressed hope that the truth would soon come to light, after which they would start over. The post immediately sparked heated online debate. Some users harshly criticized him, accusing him of killing people and still daring to claim innocence. Others mocked the cafe, saying no one would dare drink coffee there again. But there were also supporters who defended Lu Binghong, insisting he could not be a murderer, with some even cycling to the site to take photos in solidarity. Meanwhile, police made new discoveries. Tracing the sleeping pills found in the victims' bodies, they investigated nearby clinics and hospitals. They discovered that in September 2012, 5 months before the murders, Xie Yihan had indeed purchased sleeping medication from a clinic. She had told the doctor that she was unable to sleep due to grief after her father's death. She purchased a total of 21 pills. Later, during her confession, Xie admitted that on the day she obtained the medication, she had tested its effectiveness by taking 3 pills herself, carefully observing how long it took for the drug to take effect. Additionally, officers searching the Mangrove crime scene eventually recovered several crucial pieces of evidence: Chen Jin-fu's mobile phone, a fruit knife, a red knife sheath, and a Mama Mouth Coffee House brewed beer bottle. Unfortunately, because these items had been submerged in water for too long, no usable DNA or fingerprints could be extracted. Another team reviewing surveillance footage made a major breakthrough. Cameras showed that at 7:17 p.m. on the night of the incident, the Chen couple entered Mama Mouth Coffee together. A cafe employee named Guo Guo testified that around 7:30 p.m. he noticed a bottle of beer and 2 glasses on the couple's table. Zhang Cui-ping appeared unwell, slumped over the table. Around 8:30 p.m., when Guo returned from the break area, he saw the couple again, both with their heads lowered as if asleep. He did not approach or offer help at the time. By 8:40 p.m., after Guo finished cleaning, the beer bottle and glasses had been cleared, and the couple was gone. Because surveillance footage did not show them leaving through the front door, police concluded they must have exited via another route. Combined with testimony from the neighboring shop owner, investigators believed Xie Yihan had assisted the couple out through a side entrance. At 8:50 p.m., another employee, Ms. Li, stated that she saw Xie Yihan outside the cafe washing mud off her body. When asked why she was so dirty, Xie claimed she had gone to dump coffee grounds by the riverbank and had accidentally gotten muddy. After cleaning herself, Xie knocked on the cafe window and asked co-workers to hand her clean clothes. Work records showed she clocked out at 10:44 p.m. However, instead of leaving, she stayed inside the cafe, standing in the roasting room, using her Toshiba laptop to browse the internet. Even more suspiciously, starting at 11 p.m., Xie turned off her mobile phone and did not turn it back on until around 1:30 a.m. the following day. She herself did not ride her bicycle home until 1:14 a.m. At this stage, investigators faced a crucial question. What was the motive behind this seemingly gentle and intelligent woman's actions? Why would she brutally murder the Chen couple? As police dug deeper into Xie Yihan's background and her relationship with Chen Jin-fu, the complex dynamics between them gradually came into focus. As investigators continued digging into Xie Yihan's background and her relationship with Chen Jin-fu, a far more complicated picture began to emerge. Xie Yihan was born on December 25, 1985. She attended Guoguang Junior High School, later Guoguang Senior High School. According to former classmates, she was never a standout student and did not socialize much. Her father passed away after she finished junior high school, leaving her mother to support the family alone by running a small scallion pancake stand in Kaohsiung. The family lived a difficult life, sustained by a very modest income. After the case broke, journals that Xie Yihan had exchanged years earlier with a former middle school friend were leaked by an ex-boyfriend and exposed to the public. In one diary entry, written in 2008, Xie wrote that from her freshman year onward, she had been involved in ambiguous relationships with around 8 men at the same time, admitting she never officially acknowledged any of them. She also reflected that a man's golden years could be extended with money and power, while a woman's golden years only lasted from ages 18 to 30. These writings were widely interpreted as revealing a utilitarian and conflicted view of relationships and money.
A former friend later confirmed the diaries were real, though he suspected portions might have been altered. He stated that, if necessary, he was willing to provide the original files for verification. Police soon uncovered another major breakthrough. On February 5, 2013, while Zhang Cui-ping was abroad, Xie Yihan had entered the couple's home, stealing Zhang's coat and the key to a safety deposit box. She then disguised herself and went to the Beito Farmers Association, attempting to open the box and steal valuables. The attempt failed because she could not produce valid identification or seals. After the couple was murdered, Xie attempted the same scheme again on February 18th, once more disguising herself and visiting the Beito Farmers Association, but again failed. She then went to Yangxin Bank's Shipai branch, where she successfully withdrew approximately 350,000 NT$ from Chen Jin-fu's account, her only successful withdrawal. Even after committing murder, she did not stop. On February 27th, she carried out her third disguise attempt, the one that resulted in her being recognized at Changhua Bank. On March 16th, police searched the home of Xie Yihan's boyfriend and recovered her Toshiba laptop, the scooter she had ridden to the bank, and inside the scooter, a safety deposit box key. Inside the box, police found wigs, sunglasses, various disguise tools, and crucial evidence including the victim's bank books, seals, and identification documents. On March 24th, Xie Yihan's mother visited her at the detention center. The moment she saw her mother, Xie's psychological defenses collapsed completely, and she broke down in tears. At her mother's urging, Xie provided what became known as her third version of events. She stated that her father had died early, her sister studied overseas, and her mother struggled alone in Kaohsiung. She claimed she had always lacked family warmth, especially paternal care. According to her,
everything changed after she began working at the coffee shop, where wealthy businessman Chen Jin-fu became a regular customer. Chen Jin-fu often came alone for coffee before his wife finished work. Xie would chat with him to pass the time. His children lived in the United States, and she claimed he felt lonely in his later years. He gradually began giving her spending money, with the amounts increasing over time. Xie stated that starting in 2010, Chen taught her how to invest in stocks, took her to open an account, and personally gave her 500,000 NT$ to invest,
telling her profits would be hers and losses his responsibility. She claimed Chen sometimes brought her to his home while his wife was at work, opened Zhang Cui-ping's jewelry box, and occasionally selected pieces to give her. According to Xie, Zhang eventually noticed something was wrong and prior to the incident transferred all her jewelry, worth approximately 40 million Nunti dollars, into a bank safety deposit box. Xie further claimed that in 2011, during a visit to Chen's home, she drank juice and lost consciousness. When she awoke, she was lying on the sofa, smelled shower gel on her body, and was wearing someone else's clothes. She said Chen told her he had only helped her bathe. She alleged that their relationship remained abnormal afterward. Chen later proposed adopting her as his goddaughter, a move strongly opposed by Zhang Cui-ping. Xie stated she wanted to end the relationship because she was preparing to marry her boyfriend, but Chen refused to let go. Facing financial pressure and an approaching wedding, she claimed she had no choice but to take drastic action. In her third version, Xie admitted she had drugged Zhang Cui-ping and led her into the mangroves, but claimed the entire plan was orchestrated by Chen Jin-fu himself. She alleged Chen later killed Zhang and then attempted to drug her as well, forcing her to kill him in self-defense. Because she had already given 3 completely different accounts, police arranged a polygraph test on March 26th. During the examination, Xie remained unusually calm and avoided sensitive questions, making the results difficult to interpret. During the polygraph session, Xie provided her fourth and final version. She stated that on February 16th, she invited the couple to the cafe under the pretense of celebrating the owner's daughter's birthday. While they were distracted, she added pre-ground sleeping pills to their drinks. After the drugs took effect, she escorted Zhang Cui-ping to the mangroves, stabbed her 7 times, killing her. She then lured Chen Jin-fu into the mangroves and stabbed him in the neck, covering his mouth when he tried to cry out. She admitted stealing Zhang's handbag and discarding the knife and beer bottle at the scene, then returning to the cafe to wash off mud, change clothes, and clock out at 10:44 p.m. On April 12, 2013, prosecutors formally indicted Xie Yihan, concluding she acted alone. Charges against the cafe owner and other employees were dropped due to lack of evidence. After multiple trials, the court rejected Xie's claims of an illicit relationship and ruled that the murders were financially motivated. Xie Yihan was initially sentenced to death, later commuted to life imprisonment after appeals. She is currently serving her sentence at Taoyuan Women's Prison. Although the case was legally concluded, numerous unresolved questions remained. One of the main controversies concerns the location of the primary crime scene. Based on physical evidence such as beer bottles, the knife, mobile phones, and surveillance footage, investigators concluded that the mangrove area along the Tamsui River was the primary crime scene. However, 3 weeks after the murders, on March 9, 2013, police discovered a handcart handle inside an abandoned laundry facility approximately 80 meters from Mama Mouth Coffee. The handle appeared to have traces resembling blood, though no usable DNA could be extracted. This discovery led investigators to temporarily consider the possibility that the laundry facility may have been the true primary crime scene. The situation became even more puzzling 4 months later. On July 16th, when a passerby noticed a blue plaid handkerchief near the entrance fence of the same laundry facility. The cloth appeared to have stains resembling blood. The passerby contacted Chen Jin-fu's family, who later confirmed that the handkerchief did indeed belong to Chen. The issue was that when police searched the laundry facility in March, the handkerchief was not present. One explanation suggested that a typhoon may have blown the handkerchief to the site. Others argued that while no blood could be detected on the cart handle or handkerchief, that did not prove they were unrelated to the crime, only that too much time had passed to retrieve viable evidence. This theory proposes that after killing the couple, Xie Yihan used the handcart to transport the bodies to the nearby mangroves. The distance between the laundry facility and the mangroves is only several dozen meters, making it difficult to detect. The handkerchief may have fallen during body transport or during forensic handling. If the laundry facility was indeed the primary crime scene, another question arises. Could Xie Yi-han, acting alone, have transported and disposed of two bodies? If there were an accomplice, the most likely candidate would be her boyfriend. Many members of the public, including Zhang Cui-ping's family, believe that Xie Yi-han may not have acted alone. Chen Jin-fu's family also accused cafe owner Liu Binghong and Xie's boyfriend of possible involvement and petitioned the High Prosecutor's Office for further investigation. As of the time of reporting, no final conclusions had been announced. This theory is not without basis. The owner of the laundry facility had close ties with Xie Yi-han's boyfriend's family, and they were long-time acquaintances. Xie's boyfriend, Zhu Yifeng, may have been familiar with the facility and known it to be a suitable location. Additionally, both victims' fatal wounds were located on the left side of the neck, leading investigators to consider whether the killer might be left-handed. Zhu Yifeng is left-handed. Others countered that even a right-handed attacker could inflict such wounds, especially when the victims were drugged and defenseless. Phone records also raised questions. Police discovered that every time Xie withdrew money from the victim's accounts, she contacted her boyfriend. On the night of the murders, Zhu Yifeng called Xie Yi-han 21 times while her phone was turned off. Critics questioned why, if his fiancée was unreachable while working at the cafe, he never called the cafe itself. Prosecutors considered these phone records insufficient evidence and did not immediately list him as a suspect. When police finally visited his residence on March 16th, 1 month after the murders, nearby surveillance footage had already been overwritten. Phone location data did not place him near the crime scene, and he was ultimately ruled out as a suspect. Despite this, Zhu Yifeng continued to visit Xie Yi-han frequently after her arrest, reportedly over 300 times during several years of detention. Some viewed this as loyalty, others found it suspicious. Among all those involved, the cafe owner, Liu Binghong, is often considered the most innocent casualty of the case. Overnight, his life collapsed, and he became one of the most publicly vilified figures, despite eventually being cleared of criminal charges. Although Xie Yi-han received a life sentence, civil litigation continued. Courts ruled that the cafe and its partners shared liability, citing insufficient customer safety protocols. Employees had noticed the victims appeared unwell at 7:30 p.m.
and again at 8:30 p.m., but failed to assist or notify management. The court ordered compensation of $3.68 million to Zhang Cui-ping's family. Litigation involving Chen Jin-fu's family was still ongoing as of February 27, 2024. Xie Yi-han is currently serving a life sentence at Taoyuan Women's Prison. She lives quietly, avoids media contact, works making paper bags in prison, and participates in rehabilitation programs. Under current regulations, she may apply for parole after serving 25 years, the earliest being in 2038, when she will be 53 years old. As for the truth behind the Mama Mouth coffee murder case, whether Xie Yi-han truly acted alone, whether there were accomplices, and how the handkerchief appeared at the laundry facility, those answers may remain unknown. Perhaps only Xie Yi-han herself knows the full truth.